Hello, Kevin here, and Cynthia's with me.
Hello.
And we are at St Richard's Church or Chapel in Burton Park. And this Burton Park, let me say, is in West Sussex. It's not far from Dunkton. I suppose it all comes under the same sort of area, really, Dunkton, doesn't it?
So Dunkton, near Petworth.
Yeah. So we're going to have a look around the outside, see what we can find. But already we can see that some of it is ironstone. And from here you can actually see that there's some very interesting bits to do with the walls. But let me just point something out that Cynthia and I have just been talking about, and that is above this window. I don't know whether you can make it out or not, but it's like an arch of stonework that's been put in at a later stage, and it goes the same width as the window. So we think this window was put in at a much later date, and that's been filled in above. So anyway, let's get cracking. We'll have a look around the outside, and then we'll have a look round the inside. But the setting for this place is amazing. Just look at this. Lovely, lovely countryside. So here I am. I'm actually at the north side of St Richard's Church or Chapel in Burton Park. It's described as an 11th century two-cell church that was little altered before 1636 and lightly restored thereafter. The fittings include a 15th century screen, 16th century monuments, and 16th and 17th century paintings. So let me just have a wander along this outside of this fence, and then I'll go inside and have a closer look at the surrounding walls. The door is open, that's where Cynthia's gone in. Just close this gate up, and then we'll have a closer look at the walls of the chapel. As you can see, it's stone built with clear leaded light windows and lovely herringbone stonework on the outside below the window there. Likewise here, and it's got stone surrounds to all the windows, a square tower, and it's described, they do call it Burton Church, and it says contrasts almost comically with the adjacent pompous classical mansion of 1831, which is set in a park, the design of which involved both capability Brown and Humphrey Repton. There was no village, and the benefice is said to have been united with Coates in 1510. And it looks as though there might have been a doorway or something through here at one time, but I'm not absolutely certain about that. So let's have a little wander a bit further around. The surround of the doorway is very, very Eton, as you can see here. Look at this, very, very open. So let me just continue around the outside, looking at the walls of the chapel or the church. It's under a tiled roof, which is fairly recently been redone, and we've got certainly there was an entrance there, doorway through there at some point, which has been filled in. And then we've got a little bit of a buttress there, which is built of stone or stone at the base and brickwork. Again, more lovely herringbone, and that's ironstone. As you look at that, and that's on the south side of the church. And now we are at the east end. Again, a row of herringbone stonework, and the window there is fairly well protected because we've got a yew tree here, and that's not weather beaten at all. So that's the look around the outside. So let's have a look around the inside. Well, Cynthia's now, she's had a bit of a walk around the inside while I was doing around the outside, and we're just about to go in, but it's very difficult because I've got some notes here, and of course with it beginning to get windy.
Let me lead you in.
Yeah, Cynthia's going to lead me in. And it says in 1851 the church had been closed for over 100 years, though the repairs needed to be reopened. It was estimated to be no more than £75, and worship did resume after restoration later that year. So here we go inside. Gosh. Interestingly, there's no arch as you go into the chancel, so we're in the main body, the main nave of the church, and when you start looking around, it's rather amazing what is here. I just want to take this in now, so I'm just going to have a little bit of a look round, and then I'll try and bring you some more information as we go. So let me just have a little bit of a wander here. So I'm right at the east end now. Wow. Amazing timbers up in the roof. It looks, those beams above that window there look as if it's got some sort of inscription on, but I don't think it is. It looks like it's may have been where some of the old laths might have been. There may have been a roof here at one time, separating the main sort of body of the church from the actual roof timbers, because they look like little lines along there which the laths would have been across. What a beautiful place. And as I mentioned just now, there is no chancel arch. So you've just got this around the entrance to the chancel. Just to my right hand side, on the south side of the church, is this round-headed south doorway, which I think is pre-Conquest, but it's likely to be about 11th century. The west end of the church was altered around about the 14th century. There was probably an original position, since the head of it cuts into the outline of an earlier west window. So I'm right in by the altar now, and we've got these aumbrys and a piscina. That's the piscina just there, and we've got two aumbrys, one either side of the altar on the east end of the church. As I mentioned, on the outside they are no leaded, stained glass windows in St Richard's Church. The roof, with its braced crown post, probably dating from about 1636. It was mostly concealed by boards, and if you look closely at the roof timbers, you can see where bits were nailed onto it. And as I mentioned a bit earlier about round by the altar with the laths, that's exactly what these are. But these may have been boards that were nailed to those timbers. So it would have been a closed-in roof, you know, from the roof timbers itself. So it's just, you look round and it's just more and more and more that you find and you see. You've got the sun now streaming through the south window. The west end was altered, and the doorway is about 14th century. It's likely to be reset or altered. There was probably an original in that position, since the head cuts into the outline of the earlier west window, as you can see there. The work was undertaken for Bishop, later Archbishop Juxon, who attended Charles I on the scaffold. And we all know what happened to Charles I. But as you look round, there's these lovely wall artings, wall paintings there. Juxon, I think he added all the mullioned windows, some in the positions of 15th and 16th century. It's such a small church. You try and look at one thing, and you're turning and looking at something else. So it's rather difficult to take it all in. And then we are ambassadors for Christ. Just having another look inside this here. The altar rails, I think, originating about 1636. But it says something, I think I read somewhere, that the balustrading was older, in the 19th century. There's, as I mentioned, there are two aumbrys which are there. And they've got the piscina there. But the walls are very plain, mostly rendered, painted it on the sort of bottom half. Now we've got the pews or benches in the nave, and they are 16th century, I believe. We've got all these different brasses, and we've got the brasses here, and we've got some on this side here. And these are probably about 1521 or thereabouts. There are plates missing, as you can see at the bottom, and we've got this sort of coat of arms in 4 positions around there. There's a kneeling knight, as you can see there. And it's in a framed recess with panels with shallow niches. And then when you look at it, it's a plain tomb chest just at the bottom there. I think it was described as London work, but I'm not 100% sure about that. We've got the font, which I've just come past and forgot to mention. It's a plain tub font, probably 11th century, and it's got little heaters there for trying to keep the temperature up. It's got a cruciform base, and probably when it was added, the bottom of the bowl was cut to form 8 sides that it fitted. And in here we've got monuments, a small and previously identified female effigy of 14th, circa 1480. Now I'm trying to, that is something I've just remembered, and I can't actually remember where that is. So I need to try and find that, but I'm not sure where. It's the strange thing is you've got this here, but tucked away behind there is the upside down lady, and it's the wall art again on this reveal of that window. And I don't know whether this camera's going to pick that up very well. Well, Cynthia and I have finished having a look round St Richard's Church or Chapel. It's described in both ways in different things you look at. But there is so much information and different things to look at in here. It's very difficult to bring it all to you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a long description in, probably repeating some of the things that I've already said, but there's lots of other bits of information about. I know just up to my right hand side, on the north side, is the upside down lady, and I know there is some other information out there about what it suggested, who she is, etc, etc. So we're going to head off out now. We can hear that the wind is picking up, which is a bit of a worry. We don't want to get wet because we're not really geared up for wet weather walking today, so we need to get back to the car. So this will be Kevin and Cynthia from St Richard's at Burton Park saying bye-bye, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye, bye, bye-bye.
If you've enjoyed this video on Kevin's Rambles YouTube channel, why not give him a subscribe and a like and comment on his videos? It'd be very much appreciated.